Hey Art fans, thanks so much for tuning in. You guys rock and you roll. You do both at the same time. I can't even do one of those, so you guys are pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. That way we can be friends forever, ever. Echo. What you're about to see is a highlight reel from the CTN Expo, which is basically an expo like a big kind of a huge event, a gathering, if you will, a convention kind of a thing that took place in Burbank, California a few years ago. And I was on a panel hosted by Tony and Tom Bancroft, extremely cool, tall, very tall animators, twins. They're both twins. They look exactly alike. I wish I had a twin. But Tony and Tom Bancroft are awesome guys. They've worked for Disney Animation for years and years, super talented. They put a panel together for the CTN Expo a few years ago, and I was among the collection of human animation art people that they put together. The panel featured myself, Alex Hirsch from Gravity Falls, Craig McCraken, the Powerpuff Girls, and many other things, Lauren Faust, My Little Pony, and Rebecca Sugar from Steven Universe. And it was really cool. We did this panel. We answered some questions from the audience. If you, the audience, want to go hear the entire hour of that panel, it's on my audio podcast Speech Bubble. Go check that out. And here's a highlight from that expo. Check it out.
We are so thrilled to have them here, and we're thrilled to have you guys here. You obviously have a lot of love for these people, and especially for their creations, and I know that honors them. So we're going to start at the beginning of the game changing, and that really goes to Butch here and Craig. You guys both went to CalArts, but you guys obviously kind of started this ball rolling, and it was really at that time where things were really changing, and sort of the old guard, I guess you could say, of TV shows, but also TV creators, were starting to kind of change. We saw that in feature films, too, at Disney and things.
Butch, tell us a little bit about the kind of the historical landscape. I mean, there was this cat named Ted Turner that went in and bought Hanna-Barbera.
Yep.
And then Cartoon Network was born out of that, right? And what was, how did that change things for animation?
Coming out of CalArts in the 80s, every single thing, obviously you wanted to get a job at Disney, like you said, but TV animation was based on toys. It was just toys, like the Strawberry Shortcake. I worked on the original My Little Pony, the good one.
It begins.
No, it was so bad. I have to try and make up for it some. It was just the worst thing ever. I worked on that. I got fired from that job, by the way, because there was a scene I was doing. I got fired. There was a scene where some of the ponies have wings, and there was a scene where there was this one pony with wings hanging from a cliff, going "Help!" And I go to the producer, "Hey, why does the winged pony need help?" And say, "Dude, you shouldn't talk to the producer that way. Get out of here." And I got fired from My Little Pony.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah, don't ever ask questions. You're just an artist. So anyway, but like Craig said, then I got a job at Hanna-Barbera and working on storyboards, and then we were sitting there just doing our thing. And I couldn't wait to get to Hanna-Barbera, going, "Wow, this is great! All my childhood heroes are here. The guys who made Banana Splits and Fantastic Four and Fred Flintstone and all this stuff. This is going to be great." And everybody there was like 107. They didn't want to be there. They're very angry people, and it was just kind of a morose atmosphere. And then Ted Turner came in and made Cartoon Network, so we all got to start working on our own cartoon ideas, which was really exciting. That's where guys like Craig came in, Gendy Tartakovsky,
Wasn't Fred Seibert?
Fred Seibert ran.
Seibert was part of all of that,
Fred
right?
Seibert. A guy named Seth MacFarlane was there. I don't know if you know who he is. He came in there. He lived in my condo, by the way. He used to pay me rent. Anyway.
Nice.
So, exactly. So anyway, so it was, once we got to the green light to come up with our own stuff, it was very exciting. But then we kind of didn't know what to do. It was kind of like, whoa, we have to make our own thing. Like, what's the format? What do people like? So it was kind of a learning experience all the way through, because nobody knew what the audience wanted. We were told to make short cartoons, but nobody was watching those. Then they would make series out of those, and we'd all work on, whoever had a series, we'd all go work on those. And we kind of learned the process of TV show running and TV production through working on everybody's stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I learned every job in the book. I learned how to write and draw backgrounds and draw characters and do everything I could learn, which I think is a good piece of advice for all you guys. If you're out there and you can only do one thing, I encourage you to try and do something else, because there'll come a time when that job isn't available and you might need to have to hop onto some other job.
Okay, so you started on Adventure Time.
I was on Adventure Time. Yeah,
How did that turn into pitching your own show, kind of with Steven Universe?
Cartoon Network approached me asking if I had any ideas, and I had always dreamed of having a show, but I'm from Maryland. I went to college in New York City, and I never really thought that would actually be possible. I actually feel like it's sort of similar where I didn't see a clear path, but I was coming from my dream had been to do something in animation and then go home and do independent comics. I come from independent comics. So I just figured like I wanted to learn animation, I wanted to do animation, but that seemed like a distant dream. So I was like, I'll do that, but when it comes to actually telling my own stories, I'm going to go home and I'm going to do independent comics because that's where I can do things that are experimental and are, I would be able to really, truly express myself. I did not think that would be something I'd be able to do in commercial animation.
Really?
I thought I'll learn commercial animation and I'll get a job and then I'll go home and I'll do my own stuff. And it wasn't until I was working with Penn, who was really like, as I was boarding, Penn Ward, creator of Adventure Time, they were really encouraging, where they were like, "This, just make poetry, write, like, be honest with what you're writing." And I was like, "Really? Like, I can do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to do that." So
Cartoon Network said that?
Penn said.
Oh, okay.
Ben said that, not Cartoon.
Cartoon Network being like, make poetry. I'm like, holy, they're way more awesome than I
That
realized.
was Penn. I mean, Penn and Pat. I mean, that
Yeah,
was it's
yeah.
like if I did something that was like something that they had seen before, it didn't get the kind of response that I would get when I did something that was really what I wanted to do, that was really personal and honest. That was always so well received and really encouraged by Penn and Pat and my storyboarder Adam Moodho. And I just learned like, oh, I can really express myself through cartoon. I mean, that was that seemed beyond a fantasy to me.
Wait, Rebecca, are you saying that you pitched something before Steven Universe and it didn't fly?
No,
Okay.
I was doing boards for
Okay.
Adventure Time, but I really felt like I was doing what I wanted to do within that show, and they had made a space where we were all kind of doing our own version of what that show was. I was writing music for that show, and they were just the songs I wanted to write, and I was doing boards and drawings for that show that were just the drawings I wanted to do, and there was so much freedom. I think Thurup really taught that to Penn too, right? Did you
Yeah.
have you had a lot of freedom on Flapjack?
Yeah, well, like the Flapjack model was, it's the sort of 11-minute board-driven TV show model. What's really unique about it, and my show didn't follow that model at all, something completely different. But what's unique about that model is that basically, you've got writers writing an outline, maybe it's a page or something, but all the actual dialogue is conceived and written and created and boarded, and they're choosing the poses. The board artists themselves, each one is a mini creator, director, writer, all rolled into one. So if you've got a team of, whatever it is, 3, 5, 8 board artists on a board-driven show, every one of them is a writer, every one of them is a director, every one of them is a creator. It incubates talent in a way that I don't think exists anywhere else, and I was lucky enough to have that incubated when I was on Flapjack, working with Pat McHale, created Over the Garden Wall, Penn created Adventure Time, JG created Regular Show, all these dudes on a show saying, this is your episode, write the jokes you want. Okay, this is your episode, write the jokes you want. And on Flapjack, it resulted in a wildly inconsistent show. Episode to episode,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
you're on the moon this time, and this time the character acts like this, and this time the character acts like that. But it was this magical grab bag of interesting, fascinating stuff. It was this wonderful circus.
Even between you and Penn, it would be like,
Oh,
oh,
God.
that's so Penn. Whoa, that's so Alex.
And his stuff was so much funnier than mine, and I learned so much in that job. But so like from that, Penn learned that process from Thurup, which is like, empower all these artists to create their crazy vision. And then he brought that to Adventure Time with Pat, empowering people like Rebecca to do your crazy vision.
And it felt like independent comics more than any of the animation studying that I had done. It felt like what I had learned from doing my own comics was suddenly what I was doing.
That is the one thing we all share in common, is we all were storyboard artists on some other show before
Yeah,
we
that's
got
what I
our
was
own.
looking for. I think there is a common denominator,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't just come out
It's
of
the best
Cal Arts,
possible
Tony, and have a show on Cartoon Network.
Well, Craig and I did the same thing on Dexter's Lab for exactly the same thing. We'd have to write our own shows and board our own shows and all that stuff, and it really does. It learns you. First of all, you learn how to be on a deadline, which is huge in TV production. You're at home, you're doing your own thing whenever you want. When you get into TV production, it's like, well, I got to have this done by Friday, and oh my gosh, I have to work till 4 a.m. every night to do this, and it's due. Then I have another one the following week. So it really teaches you how to be responsible and hold your deadlines. Things
Yeah,
like
and that actually helped me get Powerpuff, because Gendy and I did the 2 Powerpuff shorts and the 2 Dexter shorts at the same time. The same 3 guy, me, Gendy, and Paul Hirsch did those 4 shorts. Dexter's got picked up first, and then I was like one of the main board guys on Dexter's, and Cartoon Network over the years kept seeing my boards come in, and they're like, these are really funny, these are really great, we think we can give Craig a show. And they wanted to keep our crew together. So once we had finished the first 4 seasons of Dexter's, they were like, Craig, we love your boards on Dexter's. We want to give you Powerpuff. You know, and I know you did that short years ago, but with people have been writing in about it, and your team is so great, we don't want to break you up. So you and Gendy switched seats, and you're running the show. And so
Let's put a spotlight on that real quick, because you said they had aired Powerpuff, right, on Cartoon Network. So it had already gotten some exposure, some audience.
it was one of the first shorts in the What a Cartoon program. We did a Powerpuff short, and then a Dexter short, and a Powerpuff short, and a Dexter short. And when they went to focus test, they focus tested Powerpuff Girls with 11-year-old boys, and there was one focus group where they said, this is the worst cartoon ever made, and whoever made it should be fired. And I got to go to the focus test and sit there and watch these kids. What happened afterwards, I panicked and went, what am I doing? I'm too weird, I'm too artsy, this doesn't work. I redesigned the girls, I gave them fingers and made them more kind of generic kids. And I got a call.
I want to see those drawings.
I got a call from Mike Lazo, who was my boss at Cartoon Network, and he said, Craig, I know that scared you, I know that focus test was bad, but he said, the thing that interested me is you got an extreme reaction. He goes, a positive reaction's great. The thing I'm really afraid of is a lukewarm, yeah, that was okay. Right. I don't want that reaction. You did something. There was something about what you made that riled those kids up. They wanted to know something.
Yeah.
And he said, don't change who you are. Don't change what you want to do. Just work at communicating, your idea clearer, and not saying.
It's amazing though. What I'm hearing is it sounds like some kind of utopian society that I've never experienced before.
I would like to. I was going to
Go
say
for
something
it.
about that.
Go for it.
So I had it a little different.
Okay.
People liked my storyboards at Cartoon Network, and I did get asked to pitch stuff, and I kept pitching girl stuff like a stupid person, and I kept getting told no.
Right.
So I had to
And what did they say when they? I mean, was it just no, or did they give you?
It was like, can you make it more for boys? And then I would say no, so maybe I was the bad one. But I got that a lot. I pitched around for years and years and years. I actually left animation for a short time and tried to make toys because I thought everybody's telling me girls don't like animation. No one's going to tell me girls don't like dolls. And then ultimately what I had to do was I had to keep pushing and pushing and pitching and pitching and creating, and I didn't get my break until I went and worked for a toy company, not a studio, which was very scary. Working for toy companies is like a whole different thing. And I got in at a good time, and I didn't get to finally make my show about girls until there was absolutely no question that they didn't even want boys.
Right.
Because it was My Little Pony, and people were like, there's no way any boy would ever watch this.
Bronies in the house.
Bronies! So fun.
So even though I was kind of in that utopian society, I was a long time before Rebecca, and they just weren't open-minded. That's what I heard all the time. Girls don't like.
Did you guys hear what she said, though?
It's still true.
It is
the metrics
true.
are all.
Oh.
They're all.
Yeah.
It's
You
not
say
true.
that, right? We are recording those.
Did you guys hear what
Metrics
she said? She said that she kept pitching and she kept going and she kept trying and she kept trying. This is a business where you cannot give up.
Not that it wasn't depressing.
No, you definitely get depressed, but you can't give up because it's all about timing. Like you might come in with the next Ninja Turtles, but they already have 5 karate shows on TV, and then your show might have to wait. But come up with something else.
That's cool.
Working with a network is a whole different thing too. It's like you have to learn how to work with networks because they do have some ideas that are actually pretty good. I mean, I don't know.
Plus money. They have money.
They have money. That's right. But the thing is, too, you have to learn. When the network gives you a shot on a network, they're going to pay you lots of money to put your show on TV. You need to learn how to work with these people. Don't be the artist that will not communicate with anybody. Don't
or
be
you find people who are cool to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was something. That was a promise I made to myself. It's like when I go in for job interviews, I interview them back. I'm like, do they like what I do, or are they going to try to change me into a different person? And
That's
I
good advice too.
only
It
work
is.
with people that I feel confident about working with.
Show running, it's really hard because you go to art school, you learn how to be an artist,
Right.
and then you get a show greenlit, and now you have to be
a boss.
A boss.
A creative executive.
And a boss is not the same as being a friend, and it's not the same as being a collaborator, and it can include aspects of those, but you have to be a politician, you have to think about deadlines, and you really have to look constantly a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months down the line all the time and head off problems at the pass. And sometimes those can be a production problem, like we don't have enough artists to complete this on schedule. We need to either simplify what we're doing or we need more artists, or a personal thing. I know 2 people on the crew absolutely hate each other, maybe don't put their cubes next to each other or talk to them and try to resolve and mediate. Like, you have to constantly be looking for little fires that are going to come up. And there's really no way to prepare for that.
You have to be just emotionally a pillar.
Yeah,
Because there is always something going wrong. Nothing can ever always go right.
Right. Even with a group of friends.
It's that situation where,
especially with a group of friends.
well, as a boss too, you walk in the room and everyone's talking, and then they all stop because you're in there, and it's like, hi, I'm just one of you. No, you're the boss. And they all walk away and they talk in another room, and you're like, okay, well, I know, right?
It's a lonely life.
It's true, and even if you try to be the most fun boss possible, you're like, I can't be the boss from The Office. You know what I mean?
Michael Scott.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
I want to thank you guys all for being here. You guys these guys are busy, and they were just joined us for an hour. Let's hear it for them.
Pretty cool stuff. I really enjoyed being on that panel with those amazingly talented artists. It's always great to be amongst your peers in situations like that. I mean, I have nothing but mad respect for all of those people. They are so talented, and I'm in awe of many of them. And there's the things they've done, things they've accomplished, what they've done for animation, and how they've brought it up. Super cool. Really, really my pleasure. And thanks to Tom and Tony Bancroft, 2 of the most talented and tallest animators that I know. They're great guys. So guys, thanks for having me on that panel. It was super fun. If you, the audience, want to go hear the entire hour of that panel, it's on my audio podcast, Speech Bubble. Go check that out. We have a channel too on YouTube. Check that out as well. You can subscribe over there. But check out the audio on Speech Bubble. Very cool stuff. Always great to hear insights behind the scenes of some of your favorite animated shows. What other sort of behind the scenes, appearances that I've done do you want to see? I've been to a lot of Comic-Cons and things like that. I've done a lot of stuff in the past where I've taken video of me behind the scenes at other shows I've been on. Do you want to see some of that stuff? Let me know down in the comment section. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I always appreciate it. You guys rock. Thanks for subscribing. And as always, art gives you power. Use it wisely. Use it wisely. Hey Heart fans, subscribe here to keep up with me, Danny, Timmy, Dudley, Bunsen, and the NOOG Network, my new app full of cartoons, shows, and games. Download it here. Click over here to watch my most recent video, and here to start a playlist related to this video. Whoa, check out that awesome fan art. To be featured here, use hashtag HeartFanArt and tag me. I'm on every social media platform known to man. Cartoon Butch out. Pencil drop.